my lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to episode 26 of our Transport Fever 2 series in the United States of America. At the moment we're just having a quick look at New York City, Jersey City and Brooklyn there in the distance, and one of the big changes you may be able to spot almost immediately is the rather impressive and prominent bridge that has appeared that spans over towards Brooklyn. This is not a new bridge, it's just a redesigned bridge, and it is the bridge that carries our passenger line into Grand Central Terminal. So the old girder box section bridge has been replaced with a suspension bridge, and it just makes it look a lot more imposing and much more of a focal centerpiece for this area, so I think it fits in quite nicely. And what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to head back. First of all, we're going to have a look at what we have here. Some more locomotives, EMDs, and two aircraft, Lockheed Constellations L1049 and 1049DH. Again, no immediate plans to implement air travel on this map, but it will be coming pretty soon. In fact, let me just have a quick look and see if we can yet. Oh yes, it looks like we can have, yes, large airports now with the larger runways, so perhaps the time is fast approaching for us to consider having some aircraft flying around the map, but that'll not be in today's episode, but it will be in the quite near future. So what we're going to do today, first of all, we're going to carry on tending to Philadelphia. Previously we set up fuel supplies into Philadelphia, which is now being handled here as we can see. One thing we do definitely want to do here is increase the cargo capacity at this station, because as it stands, when the train arrives with a full load, it's enough for it to overwhelm the current capacity of this little freight exchange. So that's now been improved, and we should see the benefits of that in the not too distant future. For now, however, we want to turn our attention to the fourth and final commodity, which is goods. Now, we do have goods being produced reasonably close by at the Wilmington goods factory just here, and we have a decent supply of both plastics and steel being shipped into here, so having this feed into Philadelphia would not cause too much of an overburden to this factory. So what we're going to do first of all in preparation is these roads are going to be upgraded, and the road that goes into Philadelphia itself is also going to receive an upgrade. And I'm going to go for the largest possible country road that we have, because this road can also be used to link into Wilmington, as we can see just here. So let's attend to that while we are conscious of it. Okay, so we have some water here, so we'll just very quickly smooth that out to get rid of it. And that will allow us to freely construct the roads that we are looking for. That should be more than enough. So what we're going to do is connect this into there. Now there is a high-speed route between Wilmington and Philadelphia. We also have this one along the northern edge of the river, but now we have multiple options to attempt to balance out some of the intercity traffic that may start to appear. Okay, so the roads have been upgraded, so the next thing we can do is put down a truck station that's going to pick up the goods from this factory. And we'll put it just there, it's nicely out of the way. We'll also extend the platforms just a little and put down some cargo buildings to increase their holding capacity, like so. And we'll put a second access point around the back and connect all this in to our road network. like so. Wonderful. We're just going to remove those traffic lights there. We don't need those. Okay, there we go. What we're also going to do now is make use of waypoints, just so we can steer the trucks around this area with a little bit more fine control. If we just put them liberally around the area, that should be fine. Okay, so let's just quickly name this to Wilmington Goods Factory so we know what it's serving. And then if we head into Philadelphia, we can have a look where the goods are required. So they're centered here, pretty much in the center of Philadelphia. So if we were to put our unload point just there, that would encompass all the current buildings that require the goods. And now we can get on with setting up the line itself. So goods we're going to use, I say that colour there. Perhaps it's a little bit too green actually. Let's go for that one there. And we're going to come all the way into Philadelphia. Drop off there before heading back out. Now what we might want to consider is another bridge over this river connecting this road here and this road here. At the moment everything is concentrated on these two bridges. And the more options we can provide the residents, the more manageable the traffic will be in the long run. So let's just give ourselves a base to have a bridge here and over here, just by pushing the river back just a little. And if we go for, let's have a large capacity one, the larger the better. We don't need to worry whether this bridge is open to shipping or not, because nothing is going to be running down here. The river's not deep enough anyway. So we'll put the road or the bridge like that, and we'll have it join in to that junction just there, and we'll have it come down. That might be a bit short and steep. Let's see here. How does that look? Is it a bit too... Maybe if we do that, yes. There we go. While we're here, we may also upgrade some of the roads in Philadelphia to be higher capacity. There, that will do fine. As we can see, this bridge is already being used by the private citizens of Philadelphia, so clearly it was a worthwhile construction. Just going to remove some of the traffic lights that have appeared following the upgrades of some of the roads. Philadelphia, as of yet, isn't busy enough to really warrant the use of traffic lights, so removing them should keep it as free-flowing as possible for as long as possible until such time when they do become a definite requirement. So thanks to this new bridge, we can see we've shortened the distance that our delivery trucks are going to have to take, which is good to see. And we'll give this an appropriate name, and this will be Philadelphia Goods Delivery. Now it can only pick up goods down here, but what we will do is just ensure that nothing untoward ever happens down the line by doing that. And then we want to get ourselves a depot, and I'm going to put a depot down in this area, I think. I'll have it just there. In terms of the amount of vehicles we're going to need here, to start with, I don't think we're going to need too many, and I think we'll go for 6 to begin with and put them on the line. What I am going to do very quickly is just reroute the vehicles so they come out this way. So what we're going to do is, after the goods factory, just add this station, or add this waypoint as a station. So there's no crossing over there. There is here, but there's only 6 of them, so they should never really conflict with one another. And there we go. That's goods now set up into Philadelphia as well. So that's all 4 of the commodities now being delivered to achieve growth. The next city I think we're going to focus on is likely going to be Washington, DC. After all, Washington is the capital city of the United States, and it would make sense for it to have a little bit of love and attention paid to it so it can expand as much as possible. We already do have bricks that are delivered down here, as we know. That's been set up and we can see this reflected right here. So the next thing we want to concern ourselves with would be the delivery of some tools. In terms of where we're going to collect or produce the tools, let's just see where is the nearest tool forge. It looks like it's a fair distance away, and it might be this one here outside of Trenton. Well, what we can do just to check is look at the list of suppliers. So the one in Hartford is closing, but I dare say that's too far away anyway. Springfield, Boston and Providence are definitely too far away, so I think it will be this one right here at Trenton. Now it's situated in this fork on our freight line, so we have easy access for a station here. What we also need to do is get some lumber down here. We have a forest here and a sawmill here, which are within close proximity to the tools factory, and they may even be close enough. In fact, that one's even closer to the sawmill, so that may be close enough to supply this by a road network rather than setting up a small train line for this. So if we had a road line from here to here, that would bring in the planks, or bring in the logs to make the planks, and then bringing the planks down from here to here. We could quite easily do that via some trucking lines. It's not too great of a distance for them to travel, as we can see they are quite close by to one another. So why don't we make a start on that? So we're going to give them new higher speed roads down here and make sure everything is connected together nicely. So we'll bring that into there. Upgrade these roads here like so. So the trucks would run down here. In fact, I might even go for the 62 miles per hour roads just to get as much speed out of this as we possibly can. Yeah, that's better. And then what we want to do is have a road that comes from the sawmill to the tool forge. So we'll have the road like this. We'll delete that one there. And then we want to have a bridge over this rail line here. And we'll use the iron bridge. And now we should very simply be able to just bring this down and connect it in. That looks fine. Easy peasy. Likewise, that one is also fine. Keep it at the default. Yep, that should be okay. Not too steep, not as shallow as the depression on the other side, but still not too bad. There we go. Let's just make sure we have no traffic lights along here, because we don't want those, nor do we need them. Perfect. And now we can start with the infrastructure. So we want a truck station. We only need one platform here, but we'll go with two just for reasons of symmetry. And if we set it back, we can remove the traffic lights manually. Likewise, we shall do the same here. We'll have a truck station set back, and again we can then remove the traffic lights. And lastly, we'll do the same up here, and again with the offset to allow us to remove the traffic lights. So let's get all these connected in with the roads first of all, and then we'll remove the traffic lights that the game has generated. So that's one. That one didn't generate any. And two. Perfect. So at this point, if we get a depot, we're ready to set the line up. So buildings, road depot. This can go over here, somewhere out of the way. So now the line, so the first line will be bringing in the wood. Now we could arguably then have the wood wait for planks and come down here, then head back, but I'm going to do two separate lines for all of this. So brown coloration, we want a full load, and you're only taking the logs. So this is going to be Edison Forest, and that's going to be Trenton Sawmill, and this will be Trenton Logs Haulage. So let's get the vehicles on this one up and running. Which ones can we use here? We can use the side stakes for both, and we'll start with 20 of those. Away they go. Perfect. What we will do as well, just to allow this industry to overproduce and build a nice stockpile, is chuck down some cargo buildings like that. So that'll enable the build-up of a stockpile here, so our trucks come straight in and pick up a good load before heading out. Likewise, down here we'll do the same again. Allow the generation of a big stockpile of the planks. And then from here, we want to go from Trenton Sawmill down to Trenton West, which is going to be renamed to Trenton Tools. Colour scheme, we'll use that, and we're having planks only, and this is the Trenton Planks Haulage. So now we can go get the vehicles for this line. So again, we'll use the side stakes, and we'll go with 20 again, because it's a slightly longer distance, this line. As we can see, it's not as long as this. Oh, maybe it's... Well, as the crow flies, it's a shorter distance, but given the route this trucking line is taking, it might actually be pretty similar, but never mind. And away they go. So our first logging trucks are heading over to the sawmill at Trenton to drop off the first loads. The production has obviously started here. The production here will start as soon as the logs start to feed in, and that will enable the production of the tools right here. So what we need now is a train station, a freight station, that is actually going to take the tools on the long journey down to Washington DC. So the first thing I'm doing here is just removing this dirt track, which we do not need, and it's very much in the way at the moment, so I'm going to delete this all the way back to Trenton, like so. And what the heck, we can delete this as well. There we go. So now we need a station here, a freight station, and I think we'll put it on this side of the tracks and just have it connecting nice and simply. What do we have running down here? Only one service, so we don't have to worry about overburdening the line. We have plenty of freight capacity down here. We'll start with 2 platforms. I mean, this little industry may end up serving multiple cities in the long run, but for now we'll stick with just the 2 platforms. And what we want to do is ensure that these are connected. So we'll first of all put the road outside the station, and then we want to bridge over this rail line. It doesn't matter if this bridge is a little bit rubbish, because nothing's actually going to be travelling down here. It is just to provide the working connection between the industry and the station. So something like that will do, but we'll give it a nicer, more modern look. There we go. Bring this back down to ground level. I'm just going to curve this road around the front just for aesthetic purposes. Have it join there, but then remove these traffic lights so there's no hindrance for our vehicles. And now we need to get this to connect down here. So what we may have to do is actually just rethink how this station is laid out. So we're going to configure it, go to cargo buildings. Could we fit a big... Oh, that's a bit too big. Okay, if we go for a big row of these, like that, and then remove these little tiny entrances, we have more room to get the road down and alongside the front of the station. This should also have the added benefit of giving our station higher capacity, so we can attempt to get some sort of stockpile, so when the train arrives there's enough for a full load straight away. And then if we curve a little like that and like that, we should be able to get you into there. Nope. So what we might have to do then is come off of this direction. Okay, so we may have to just rethink this bridge and try it again. Let's just delete that as well. Right, so let's go like this, staying level. Yeah, we can't have that, although if it looks a little better with that, nope, that looks even worse. Okay, I'll have a little play about with this and see if there's what the best way to get this done is going to be. Okay, so I've managed to get a bridge in place, what doesn't look too bad. Had to raise up some of the terrain using the terraforming tools, but it works and we have a connection between the two, as we can see. When we click the sidings, we do have the factory illuminated. So let's just rename this to the Trenton Tool Forge. And then what we want to do is have it connected into our existing freight line somewhere down here. So we may have to just quickly reposition those signals in a few moments, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Okay, yeah, we will have to rework those signals just there. Okay, so we may have to come parallel first of all then. Let's see, can we get it to snap? Well, what do we have on the other side of the river? Not much, so yeah, what we're going to do then is have it remain at its current height. We'll put another bridge over this little bit of river here. And now we'll have it come parallel and join in. There we go. So now we're going parallel, as we can see. And now we should be able to get it to cross over without any problems at all. And we can bring the second track all the way back to the new station, like so. And we'll give ourselves a diamond over here. We're going to offset the diamond from the station by quite a distance, because that way we have plenty of room for bringing out tracks to other platforms if we decide to have this feeding multiple cities down the line. So that's just in case we do go down that route, it's all ready for us and we don't have to find space at a premium. So what we need now are some signals around here. These should be one way, so I'll leave that as two way. It doesn't make much difference, but the rest will be one way. So the signals I did get rid of back here, didn't necessarily need to get rid of them. They're a bit close to the diamond, so let's just remove those. And maybe put these back on the bridge. Okay, there we go. Will not, in fact we will have tracks coming out of the rear for now, although I don't think these are going to be used to actually transport any. Oh no, we probably don't have the room there, no. So we not have anything coming out of the rear then. Right, so you should now be producing or being in receipt of planks, which you are. How are you doing? You've got plenty of supply, which is good. We might double up these vehicles here because, oh no, I think the hold up is just the loading time at the station there. Okay, that should kick in once everything upgrades downstream a little. Right, so what we want to do now is get a line from here. And this is going to run all the way down, and it's going to be quite a long route. In fact, is there any way for this to get to Washington? There is not as it stands. Where is the freight line that we have to Washington? It's this one here, I believe, yes. So what we want to do then is extend these tracks and have them join into this freight line here, and perhaps have a corner here as well. and then the tools can come all the way down and share all this, and then they'll make it all the way to Washington. So let's take care of that first of all, because otherwise we can't complete the line. Leaving Philadelphia now, like so. And eventually we might want to switch all this around so we have bypass platforms, but for now we should be fine. And again, we're just going to have the diamond a fair distance from the station, so if we do have extra platforms, we have plenty of space to pull out the new lines between the diamond and the platforms. But for now, this should be a fairly easy process of getting it all linked together. And if we go to about there, it's given us quite a large bridge there. Let's just go for the earthworks instead. So there's the second track, and what we're going to do is have it come up here, join in, and then immediately leave, because it's going to be crossing over and then joining into down here somewhere. So if we do something like this, so we have our parallel tracks in place, that should be a decent enough speed. Yeah, 67 is fine. Bring that in as well, so that's all done. And then immediately have these crossover. This is going to be quite slow because we're a little cramped in here, so we need to get them over as quickly as possible in terms of distance rather than speed at this point. And then can we have this be nice and level on the crossover? Yes, we can. It's going into a bridge here, which is fine. Yep, all good. And then this is going to merge in to this line. Nope, did not mean to click that, so let's just remove that and rebuild that. So again, just set up our parallel tracks in advance. That's better. Yep, perfect. Perfect. We have some signals approaching, so let's get this joined in as quickly as we can. That's got a decent speed, and we should have decent distance from the signals, but we can reposition them if it becomes necessary. Well, we might want to just remove that one because it might be a bit too close to this junction. We don't want to block anything in. The Toronto PCC A7 has just become available to us as well, so we can have a look at that in a few moments. I believe that is a tram. We do have trams operating in and around New York City, so we might want to swap out our trams for the new Toronto, but we shall see. And we're going to need a few signals for all of this that we've just constructed down here. That should be fine. Yep. And then just a couple of blocking signals along here. Shouldn't take too long. We only have one service running down here at the moment, so we're going to only have one service, so we don't need to go overboard on the blocking, and it shouldn't take too long. Nor do we have any junctions apart from this diamond here, so we don't have to worry about controlling the junctions adequately. But now we should be able to set up this line from the tool forge over to Washington DC. So if you wait for a full load when you're at the tool forge, can you now access Washington DC? You certainly can, and what we're going to do, we're going to have you pull into this station, or this platform down here, which is platform number 4. So everything is well away from each other, so shouldn't be any problems with that. We might want to consider perhaps having quad tracks down here just to get some of these lines onto their separate rail systems, separate lines, just so we don't overload this and cause things to start bottlenecking, but we shall see how it runs and how it performs. So let's just last of all set this up so it only picks up the tools and give it an appropriate name. So this will be Trenton, Washington, Tools, Freight. Okay, so we should now be able to purchase the train for all of this, and I think we'll be able to use this depot here for this. So this train is going a fair distance, so we want it to be a decent size. So for the locomotive, we want something that can pull a decent weight. So I'm thinking I might just go for the MILW class EP2. And then we want the new boxcars. I have, as I said, in between episodes, gone through and upgraded all of our existing lines to incorporate these newer high-speed, high-capacity wagons. So that's all done and taken care of. And if we go for 180 capacity and have 2 of those, they've got a lovely rating, and I think 180 is going to be enough just to get the ball rolling. We may want to add extra carriages on as things start to pick up. For now it should be fine, and they can make their way onto the line without any trouble. However, there's not going to be any generating demand yet, so what we need to do is set up the final leg of this delivery system, which is the dropping off of the tools in Washington itself. So we'll drop them off there. This should be a quick setup, so we're going from there to there with this colour scheme, and we don't care if you're fully loaded or not, because we don't want to cause tailbacks and stop anything else from accessing the platform over here. So just pick up anything, if anything is there to pick up, and this will be the Washington tools delivery. Excellent. In terms of vehicles, we'll start with, can you take tools? Yes, you can. We'll start with 4. Colour them, assign them. There we go. So now the tools should start being produced at the tool forge. Let's just head on over and verify that that is indeed happening. Yeah, we're going to start seeing them populating on this platform in the near future, so everything is set up and working as it should. As I said, I'm going to go ahead and double up. In fact, no, I wasn't going to, because it's the hold up here. That's the problem. Okay, never mind. Ignore that. Okay, so the last thing we'll do today then is take a look at this new tram we've unlocked and see if we want to replace our existing trams in and around New York. So let's go to the vehicle manager, go to our metro lines. Not sure why that's coming up as a metro when it's got buses on there, but what the heck. Likewise this one, but again, what the heck. So all of these metros here, bulk replace. So at the minute we must be using the Pittsburgh. So the Toronto is faster, it's got more power and tractive effort, reduced capacity though, but it does have lower emissions. I don't know if I've just purchased them. Yes, I did. So let's just have a quick look at this new tram. Here's one of them now, just coming around the corner. Yep, they look quite nice. Very nice indeed. And, yep, Queens is taking shape. That's a very imposing skyline just ahead of us, as we can see, as we head towards the exchange for Queens. That is Queens Halt. That's a busy bus stop, so we might want to look at the amount of buses we have around here and improve those. Traffic seems to be pretty good in Queens, or almost non-existent, you know, to be more precise, so that's also positive. I wonder if we'll be able to catch a glimpse of Brooklyn over to the right as we're travelling through here. I don't think we are. We are surrounded by fairly tall buildings, so they are blocking our horizon. That's okay. So yes, this whole area is really coming together nicely now and blending into one large city, which is good to see. I did want this to start expanding. We can see Yonkers and New York have almost merged into one without any clear dividing line now. The traffic around here is a little more intense, as we can see, going in and around these bridges, but that's to be expected because there's only a few of them. So we may want to consider adding even more bridges in. One thing I'm also toying with is the idea of having a subway system for this area. We do have the underground station mod available to us right here, so it is a possibility, and I might have a little play about with it between episodes, and if I can get it working okay and it isn't too much of a chore to set up, then, you know, I won't save any progress that I do make in the testing, but in a future episode we shall build it live on camera. That is if I can get it working, so we'll see what happens on that front. But for now, that's where we're going to leave it for today. So what we're going to do is pause the date speed so we don't have any unlocks during the outro. And we have a new train, so we're going to have a little ride on this one. Not sure how far we're going to take it. I don't think we're going to... Could we make it all the way to Trenton? Would that be too far? No, I might be okay. It would be a bit of a journey, but we'll see. The aim is to go as far as Trenton, but if it's going to take 10, 15, 20 minutes, then I'll cut it a little bit shorter and leave it elsewhere. So I hope you enjoyed the episode, and thank you for your patronage as always. It's greatly appreciated. If you have enjoyed the episode, one of the best ways to leave the feedback and the response is, of course, the thumbs up button just below the video. So if you'd maybe consider showing your support via that button, it would be greatly appreciated. If not, just having you watch the video and enjoy it is more than enough, so there we go. But for now, all that remains for me to say is, as always, ladies and gentlemen, take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.